Hello and welcome back to Rumor Has It Music News and Gossip, but you ain't heard it from me. Today we will be looking at a drama, fantasy film from 1957 called The Seventh Seal. The Seventh Seal begins with a disillusioned knight, Antonius Block, and his squire Johns, lying on a rocky shore pondering life and death. The two are recently back from the Crusades, and they have returned to find Sweden in the grips of a deadly plague. Death approaches the knight, who does not fear the specter. The knight challenges Death to a chess match, believing he can delay his passing as long as the game continues. The game is revisited throughout the film. As the knight and squire continue their journey, they pass a caravan of actors. Jove and his wife Mia discuss Jove's vision of the Virgin May and an infant Jesus Christ, before the pair, along with their infant son Mikhail and their manager Jonas Scat head into the village. The knight and the squire visit a church where an artist is in the process of painting a fresco of the Danse Macabre, Dance of Death, on the inside of the church. Johns lectures the artist for feeding into the ideological fervor that led to the Bloody Crusade. Meanwhile, Block proceeds to the confessional and attempts to cleanse his soul. He admits to a priest that he wants to perform one meaningful deed in his life before he dies and discusses his lack of faith. He also reveals the ongoing chess match that he has engaged in with Death, even going as far as revealing his strategy for delay. However, the priest is actually Death, who reveals himself. Block leaves the church after Death states that their game will continue. The knight tries to speak to a young woman and stalks outside the church. The woman is to be burned at the stake for consorting with the devil, and Block believes she will tell him about life beyond death. However, he is dismayed to learn that she is in fact insane and cannot provide any answers to him. Block and Johns come upon a deserted village. The squire stops to fill his water skin and interrupts an attempted rape of a mute servant girl by a thief named Ravel. Johns recognizes Ravel as one of the theologians who convinced Block to join the Crusades 10 years earlier. The squire vows to destroy the thief's face if he ever sees him again. The mute girl leaves with Johns, who offers her a job as his servant girl. The threesome then proceed into a town where the actors are performing. Scat, the actor's manager, is lured away from the performance for a sexual tryst with Lisa, the wife of the blacksmith Plug. Jove and Mia's performance is interrupted by a procession of religious zealots who flog themselves and who are led by a preacher who chastises the townspeople. After the zealots leave, Plug approaches Johns and asks if he has seen his wife. The squire tells him to go to tavern to see if she is there. At the tavern, Plug asks Jove if he has seen his wife, having heard from others that she ran off with an actor. When Ravel reveals that Jove is an actor himself, he and Plug begin to threaten the frightened thespian into dancing to their command. Johns shows up and saves Jove and keeps his promise to Ravel when he slashes the thief's face. Meanwhile, Block waits in the countryside for Death to continue their game. He sees Mia and Mikhail playing on a blanket and approaches. Jove returns, and Mia makes a meal of strawberries and milk for the foursome. Soon, Johns joins them with the mute girl. Block shares a moment of happiness with the group and states that the meal with all of them is a treasured memory. The knight invites the actors to join him at his castle to shelter from the plague, and they accept the invitation. Block then walks away from the party and continues his game with Death. Death implies that he may be looking for more than just Block on the journey to the castle. Plug joins the group the next day after making amends with Jove. On the way to the castle, they encounter Scat and Lisa in the forest. Lisa returns to Plug, while Scat fakes his own death to avoid being killed by Plug. However, when the rest of the group continues on, Death comes for Scat. Along the roadside, the group runs into the execution party for the young woman outside the church. Block once again tries to converse with her about the devil. The knight asks her to summon Satan so that he can question him about the existence of God. The girl claims she has done so, but Block only sees her terror. Feeling pity on the girl, the knight gives her some herbs to take away her pain just before she is placed on the pyre. That night, the group encounters Ravel, who has been stricken by the plague. The thief begs for them to give him some water to relieve his pain. The servant girl runs to give him a drink, but she is stopped by Johns. Ravel dies alone just outside their camp. Death returns to continue the game with Block. While the two play their game, Jove notices Death with the knight. Fearful, he convinces Mia they need to leave right then. Block is aware of their departure, and continues to play the game in order to keep Death distracted. Death wins the game and tells Block that the next time they meet will be the last time for the Knight and anyone with him. Death asks Block if he has accomplished the meaningful deed that he wished for, and the Knight solemnly says that he has. On the forest road, Jove and Mia battle a furious storm, fearful that Death is chasing after them. When the storm becomes to intensify, they stop for the night and take shelter in their covered wagon. The next day, Block brings the remaining members of the group to his castle, where he finds his wife Karen, Ingo Landgra, waiting for them. Karen makes dinner for the group, but during the meal there comes a loud pounding on the door. Death interrupts their last supper. Everyone is accepting of the Reaper with the exception of Block, who begins to pray in the background. The mute girl greets Death and states, "It is finished." The next morning, Jove and Mia awaken to a blue sky near the sea. The couple attributes the storm to Death passing them by. As they begin to get back on the road, Jove tells Mia that he can see the Knight and his followers on the distant hillside being led away by Death. He tells Mia that they are doing a strange dance of death. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can see new video releases. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we're out.